past few episodes, AE and power have been the primary focus, but today things are going to change up just a little bit because there's a mod in here called Replication. And this is going to be one of my first times actually diving through the Replication mod, as I've not really gotten to experience it in any pack yet. So this is the first time. And you know what? I find it the most fun discovering new mods, as I haven't, like I said, got to experience this one. So it's a completely new journey for me. I do, however, understand the concept of this mod. And like I said, I kind of mentioned that it is very similar, or it's going to be a close mod to what ProjectE was essentially, right? Where we convert something that contains some state of existence, in the case ProjectE, a number, and then it gets associated to a value, and then you can pull out other things that have this value. Well, with this, it's a little bit different. Things have a sort of essence to them, and those essences can be extracted from those items and then can be used to essentially provide essence to replicate things that have other essences in them. Now, before we can fully dive in this mod, it is wanting us to complete the morphing time dependency here. So we are going to need the polymorphic catalyst, and this is apparently how we could get this ore. We got our ore from actually going on top of towers and taking out the towers. We have a ton of ore to be able to make some of the stuff, but to be able to make it consistently, polymorphic catalyst is how we're going to do this. This requires the blaze gold ingot and nether wart, and we toss this into some water. Oh, and by the way, just in case you didn't know, if you wanted to get quite a bit of nether wart quickly, without of course setting up anything that farms it automatically, of course, you can have the hoe, and the hoe will grow it. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And then yes, you can vein mine the material. So once it's all grown up, just hold down the vein mine key and just continue harvesting about. Yep, works pretty good. Now, to get this set up pretty easy, all you need is a water source. It's sort of like this right here, where we have our two sources, and we just need to toss it right in the center. And the cool part is once we have the polymorphic fluid, like that's it. As soon as we pull this out or convert it into something else, it can just be regenerated. In this case, I believe we need to bucket it up, and then it needs to go inside of a tempered glass jar that has a soul fire underneath it. And it looks like this with a little bit of primal coal is what's going to get us this. So a little bit of black quartz, primal coal, and this is going to get us essentially 4 out of 1 bucket of the polymorphic fluid. Now, I can't just go without showing you exactly what polymorphic fluid is used for, because it's pretty crazy actually. So the polymorphic wand right here, we can actually use this to also scoop this up. And I did get lucky and I got a polymorphic wand, but it's not too hard to make. This allows us to swap mobs. Yeah, so let's say we have a chicken, but we actually want a cow. Well, we can just right click this on an animal and it will actually swap it. But something you might actually want to do is shift right click it and then make sure to toggle this off. So this is the random polymorph, and you can see right here, we can toggle it on or off. And I believe you could set targets to specific mobs later on. But yeah, I don't know if random is what we want. I don't know if we can specifically target. I think if you, if you right click this, as you can see, yeah, we do want random on. Yeah, it's in the higher tiers that it becomes kind of weird. Oh God, okay, dolphin. But yeah, you can see how cool this is, right? So we're able to literally swap it. Look there, we now have a frog. That's so cool. And you know what? This also is pretty in line with ProjectE, because this is also a feature that you could do with ProjectE. So this almost feels like perfect, right? It's kind of, I'm comparing these two because I know that mod is pretty well known. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty neat. Now let's go see what our airdrop has got. Ooh, okay, reflecting necklace. More of the essence. I like. Yep, more redstone seeds. Actually, nether and redstone seed. Uh-oh. Oh no. Let's get back here. Okay, this chest. Okay, phantom boots. So yeah, a lot of this is still similar, and from what you guys have told me, spoilers, as we progress, yes, the loot pool does get nicer and nicer. So it is going to be kind of nice, I'm assuming. So hopefully this loot gets even better. I have a lot of plans though to get in mystical agriculture. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, now we can convert mobs. For example, now we have a frog in there. Yeah. Now the primal coal is made with the goo, and we can go ahead and place some coal like this temporarily. Place our goo. And yeah, we just need to essentially surround this thing just like we did with our iron ingots and stuff to be able to get the ingot variant. Yeah, we just do the same thing here. give it something like that. Perfect. And then of course, with shaders off, if I disable those real quick, we can actually see it kind of crawling up the block. What a cool look. And then before you know it, all of it is converted, particles and all, and then we can just pick it up. Beautiful. So yes, this is a way that we can generate replication ore, and it does look like we'd get to double the amount of coal that we have here and turn it into that ore. Just a simple boop and perfect. Now I'm not sure yet if I'm going to need to automate this process, right? Because I still don't know if like the ore is required as like a fuel source or anything for the replication to work. I'm still unsure about that. I think it does require power, but outside of that, I am very unknowledgeable at the moment. So now at the moment, I do have quite a bit of replication ore, which is kind of nice, or replica, raw replica. And I can toss that over here and we can get it all smelted down into the actual replica ingot. Very, very nice. This is going to allow us to make the matter network pipes, also matter tanks, and the replicator itself, the chip storage, the actual terminal. And there's really not a lot of moving parts in this mod, to be honest. Now, thankfully, it looks like they've added support for the AE guide here, which does have a little bit of a ponder system. And it gives us like an example of what this should sort of look like, or at least the basics of what it should look like. So I guess I should probably start making some of these components. For example, like the replicator. It does show in there having 2 replicators. I think for right now, I want to get the basics, at least craft like one of each of these individual components. So we now have the identification chamber. This is the disintegrator. So I'm assuming this is what's actually going to break the components down. Let's actually store these inside here. And yes, this is like the matter tanks that we're going to probably need multiples of. I think this does have an internal storage though, which is kind of why it shows that there. But there's the panel that's going to allow all of this to happen. And then a chip storage. Yeah, we should definitely probably make one of those as well. So there we go. So now we have like kind of the basics of everything. Oh, this has a really nice GUI overlay. Okay, this is going to be perfect. Now I couldn't tell if I look at this, are these connected to each other? Okay, so they have pipes running through the back. So I assume that we have to use the pipes to carry all of the information around to each of these components. Okay, so just like this, we'll place that down. We have our identification chamber, and we also have the disintegrator. Okay, so we have all of that. Let's place a cable, and we can put our terminal in here, just like that. Probably like so. Yeah, so there's a terminal. Actually, I'm gonna push that back a little bit. Nice, perfect. So there's our terminal. It's a lot to look at, isn't it? Now, looking at the mod in JEI, it looks like we have metallic. We also have earth. There's nether, there's organic, ender, precious, quantum, and living. We're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 8 matter tanks. So I have my 8 matter tanks. I think what I'll do is I'm going to place them right here. Do these actually need to be directly connected, or do they have to be connected into the back? Wait, that forced them to connect. Okay, interesting. So yes, they can connect. Just like this. Can each of these be auto-defined? Okay, so they have to store the fluid. I don't think I can drag any particular fluid in there. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Does breaking this and placing it cause the network to update? It does. Okay, those are connected. This side, however, not connected. Maybe I get it to force. There we go. And perfect. Now they look like they're all connected. Okay, so this behind me looks like the basics of what a replication system should probably look like. But do I know what any of it does? Not yet. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. Now, from the looks of it, memory chips are gonna play an important role in this setup here. So we are gonna need to use, there we go, we finished the whole chapter. We're gonna need to use this identification chamber to be able to set this all up. However, I am going to need to run some power, it looks like, over here. So I'm going to just drag some power cables down, and this, I'm assuming, connects up. Does look like it. Perfect. And this all now has power. So if I, for example, take ender pearls, right? We do have a ton of ender pearls, and I want to learn about these. How do we put this chip in here? So I just put it in here. Oh, it has 16 slots. Okay, so can this learn, I'm assuming, 16 items? So if I put this in here, that's going to take a little bit of time, and I'm assuming consume the item. I think it said it does consume the item. and it's going to learn said item or give a percentage of learning it. Oh, nice. Okay. So maybe it just needs to consume one item to be able to learn it, if I'm not mistaken here. Perfect. Okay. So Ender Pearl has now been learned. Okay. So as of right now, there's nothing in here, but if I put this chip in the chip storage, I can now see Ender Pearls. Okay, perfect. Now Ender Pearl is going to require what I assume to be the Ender matter, and then it also is going to need quantum matter, which is interesting because quantum matter flashes like that. I love that little animation. And then we need organic matter. Okay, can we break things down without learning it? So like a carrot, for example. Let's just say we want to break down carrots. This is where we can break down materials. So I put this in here. It's going to break it down into some base components. So we have living and organic that just went into these. I'm going to go ahead and lock these containers. I'm assuming everything else here is locked up. Okay. So now we have those materials. So we have the organic, I think, which is in 4. I guess it tells us over here, right? And so now we need to figure out what gives us quantum. Now, of course, I can just simply throw in an Ender Pearl and that would definitely solve this problem, right? Because now all of those materials, we have living, organic, and Ender. I can lock that. And then we also have quantum in here. I can now, I think, request 1. So perfect. So now I hit replicate and now we're going to be able to see, okay, this startup. This is actually going to be kind of wild. It's like 3D printing the item. Okay, and now we have it in the inventory buffer down here. That is actually sick. Now, of course, the idea behind this would be that you're basically setting up an exchanging system for items for this, right? That's pretty cool. It's a nifty little idea. Also, that is the spinny blades of death right there. Do not stick your foot in there, or do. Who am I to tell you? So now I've started to kind of come up with a plan for how I could have a system that allows me to basically pull out whatever I want. But there's actually, I think, a better use for this, and it can be used in much smaller applications than having a full scale setup like this. Let's just say you want to generate one particular item. This is the cool thing, right? You can actually put that item inside of this slot right here, and it will then just infinitely start requesting that item. So let's say we want to generate infinite amounts of Ender Pearls. I know we're doing it right now, but this is just an example. Let's say logs, for example, is something we want. You can just constantly keep generating it so long as you are feeding these disintegrators here with the appropriate ingredients that allow you to replicate it. So let's say we have a crop that can generate a certain amount of the essence here. And yeah, we can essentially turn our crops into wood, or we can turn it into Ender Pearls, or really whatever has support for this. This is cool. This will be one of the weirdest tree farms I think I ever set up, because logs are something that we are going to need access to. And so we can generate just about any log so long as we have learned it first, I believe. I kind of also wonder, do we even need to have learned it? Okay, so I think we definitely have to have learned it inside of the chip to be able to generate it, but still, like, that's not that hard to do, right? We just reapply our chip right here and we just relearn it. It takes a few seconds, a couple of passes, and then consumes the log, and then this replicator should start working. Oh, I didn't even notice the like scanning of it. Oh, that's actually so cool. Okay, all of the textures were super, super well done. Yeah, I mean, honestly, take a look at the AE textures done by the same person. It's good. So yeah, I guess let's see if this kicks off. So if I put that in the memory here, this is defined. I think we have to break it. If it does go in there, it does seem like it is kind of locked until we place a log. I may not actually have had the ingredients to make this stuff. Oh, I may not. I may be actually out of the materials needed here. Actually, you may not even need to go into the memory chip to be able to be functional here. Let's just toss in some dirt so that way we can gather up more earth here. I do have all of these locked now to their specific materials. And let's see, once it gathers up enough earth. Looks like these don't have power. Yeah, that would kind of make sense, wouldn't it? We should probably give them some power here so they can actually function. That'd be kind of nice. Yeah, it doesn't need the memory chip. It's just producing it. You just put the item in this slot and it'll just start making it infinitely. Okay, so yeah, I was trying to figure out how could I use this in a productive way. I think a tree farm would be one of the coolest ways to use this. And even though we can't produce logs infinitely with our sleuths, we can actually create saplings though. And we already have the dirt infrastructure set up. So, I mean, why not do this? We can just switch it to an iron mesh and generate saplings infinitely, essentially. And this produces 16, which, I mean, a log isn't going to require that much, but it is evenly split between the two. And so, yeah, one sapling essentially equals, no matter what sapling we feed it, we can dump all of these saplings into the replicator. It will just generate whatever log we want. So each sapling will generate 2 logs. Now, just as a proof of concept, let's go ahead and design one of these. So I am going to need to run a little bit of power to this network chain. So let's grab some more cables here, right? Power cables. I only need a few of them. And this will connect into this setup here. And then I'm going to have a disintegrator on the top. And then I'm thinking 2 replicators right here on the side, both getting power. And then in the middle, we'll use a drawer. This is actually what's going to pull from the replicators that are over here. And this is where the logs are going to end up going. Like I said, this is just like a proof of concept, right? On the top, I'm going to put an export bus. This is going to allow me to send my network over here. And so I'll just run this along the wall. It's going to look very, very janky, not super pretty or anything like that. But I just essentially want to send saplings into this. Now, I'm also going to need a place to store my replication, so we could put our 2 tanks right here. And I'm hoping that somehow updating this cable will show that they're connected, or maybe they have to be connected to the bottom. I don't actually know, maybe bottom and top. Either way, just like this. Oh, actually, you know what? We should be able to just place them directly onto the cable right here. That would work even better, right? So place them like that. Come on, there we go. And update the cable. Perfect. Maybe have this side updated as well. And then just to make sure we don't have any power issues, I'll make sure to update the power cable. Perfect. Okay, so this is a simplified tree farm. Inside of here, I'm going to say send saplings. Let's just assume we're getting them in infinitely. And we'll say, hey, make sure you export saplings into here. That is going to separate that into earth. And then over here into organic matter. We can make sure to lock these so that way it knows where to send it. This is going to constantly be generating these materials in a backlog. And I'm assuming that this is going to generate faster than these 2 replicators, but because this is an even split, I want the replicators to have 2. And I also want to use puller upgrades to pull the logs that are generated into this barrel. So that means I need to figure out what direction I'm looking at. So it looks like north and south are going to be my 2 directions. Let's split this, set that to south. This one's already set to north. And then we can actually put that inside of our utility slots in the barrel to pull from this replicator and pull from this replicator. Okay, we're almost there. Now we can choose what actual log we want. So let's say I want spruce logs because I really like the look of spruce logs. But I almost wonder, can we make the vexing and stuff? Yes, we can make the different material archwood out of this as well. Oh, this is so good. All of these individual saplings like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and define this. We'll say, hey, make sure to print these logs. You can see it's going to both start printing, and we should end up with a spruce log generator right here. Oh my goodness. Yes, just off of saplings. This is actually the coolest the coolest tree farm I think I have ever set up. I mean, honestly, just look at that beauty. That is one heck of a tree farm, if I do say so myself, and very fitting for an underwater theme where just growing trees just really doesn't seem like it just doesn't seem like it should happen, right? Okay, so this is cool and all. We're generating infinite wood, which is fantastic. But I did want to show you a couple of other cool things that I just found out. For example, the Matteropedia. This thing's pretty cool. And I was wondering if there was a way that I could search for individual matter aspects or essences inside of JEI. It doesn't make it super easy, but with this button, you can. Notice it's set to Earth right now. And if I do Nether, you can see all of the things that have Nether in it that we can technically replicate. So everything that is in these lists or throughout this entire page can be replicated. So I was looking at some other stuff after seeing that page and all the things I can replicate. These are a few really good items that we can burn up. For example, dirt. Dirt is a really good one, and we can compress the dirt to give ourselves some higher values than just one to allow it to process a bit faster. That'll give us the earth. And then over here, we have ender pearls running. These are all things, by the way, that we could easily have automated. The ender pearls will generate ender, quantum, and organic. And then over here, our gold, this is going to produce precious, and it's also going to produce the metallic all in the same values, which is really, really nice. So blocks of it work really, really well. You can see I now have a bunch stored. And then another really great option is netherwort. This is another thing that can be automated, and this gives us the living and also the nether essence or matter. I should be calling these matter, right? I keep calling them essences, but like it's so hard. Like it's so hard for me to get used to calling things different things. But yes, I guess they all are different states of matter, right? They're all matter. Just like you matter, and I hope this channel matters. So you know what? If you do think this channel matters, you might want to check that subscribe button and see if you've clicked it or not. If you haven't, definitely click that subscribe button. Yeah, because I'm sure that this guy will appreciate you as well if you do. Man, you know what I actually missed now that I look back at this setup right here? We don't actually need the puller upgrades. Nope, that's because the replication itself actually has a menu just like all of the industrial foregoing machines, because this is by the same dev Buzz. We should be able to set this to actually push the product to the side that we want it to be pushed to. So yes, this is another really, really nice feature of this. So yeah, these will actually auto push. Like, how can you beat that? So now that we have access to this thing, automation is going to need to be a priority now. I feel like at this current moment, my AE system, now that I have it up, we need to start fully transitioning everything over to Applied Energistics, especially with some of the newer add-ons that were recently added in an update. For example, we now have extended AE, which dramatically changes how I am actually going to be using and setting up my Applied Energistics network. So that means I think it's finally time for me to bite the bullet and, well, move all of my stuff over. However, this setup is going to require a logistics change in order for me to fully set up all of the different processing dusts and things like that on the wall, and to be able to get it into my, well, sleuths. So I did finally get everything moved over here, and can you hear me now? It's just what it reminds me of, because we have the tower that is built up. Now, getting the materials into a new container is going to be something that is going to be where this changes. So I do have all of my sleuths, and I definitely want to upgrade them to powered ones eventually. But as of right now, just setting this up similar to how I had it before is going to be the way forward. You can see I did design this in a way that these should be able to handle themselves. And I had it originally designed where this would all align, but now I'm going to have a sleuth that is definitely dedicated to, well, handling dirt. Now, the more I think about this, the more I'm like, you know what? There are ways that I could technically like allow this to work with a subnetted Applied Energistics system and use that to filter some things, which I think would be really, really helpful for this setup. And why would I need ender chests, which is what I was planning on using for this setup, when this essentially can be wireless in itself by simply using a storage controller? This all is now starting to make sense and really starting to come together. So for example, in the middle of the room here, if I go ahead and I place in a storage controller, this should be able to link to all of these drawers, but I don't want to link to all of them really. Even though that actually wouldn't be a bad idea. We are going to need some upgrades. You know what? I'm going to put a diamond upgrade inside of here. So if we open the inventory here, we can extend the range. And now the range is so big that it covers this entire room, which is nice. But yeah, now that this is shift right clicked, what I can do is I can then right click to add to the drawer controller. So it's now linked in here, and we have access to all of the dust that is contained within. Same for if I add this one, and also essentially add this one. And well, of course we have to add our gravel as well. Now getting the resources to this, well, we could use, like I said, Applied Energistics. So I can go ahead and use like export buses, for example, on the top of this. And this isn't even connected to the main network. And we can apply a storage bus on here, and the storage bus can read the contents of these containers here through this bus. And then we can just essentially define what we want this to sift. For For example, I want dust to be done here. And then on this one, I think I want sand to be done. So we'll get that placed in. And then last but not least, we definitely want gravel to be placed into this one. And then on this one out here, I kind of want dirt to be placed in it. So now that we have that all defined, we need to start worrying about how we're going to get water into here. And that can also be done with applied energistics. And I was thinking, you know what? We could actually, because we have access to infinite water down here, yeah, we could just have our cable come down here with an annihilation plane. So let's grab a regular Fluix cable and we can go ahead and start branching these things together because they're not powered yet. We'll talk about power here in a second. But yeah, we can get this pulled down and we want to get it down below this table level right here. And if I put myself in annihilation plane here, this can actually pull from the infinite water that just exists around it, which is pretty powerful, right? And this just basically needs somewhere to store that water. And that means in here, if we say, hey, let's go ahead and send water into here, it can send water. Now, I think I'm at the point though where I no longer need water, but I did want to show that this is something that you could do. The annihilation plane will provide water, I believe, to export buses. It's actually something I should probably test, right? So let's go ahead and just say this one, for example, hey, send me some water, because this one is going to need water. So I guess I do need this defined on here. And then we want to make sure this is set to scheduling mode. So it's going to round robin. So it's going to try to send dirt. Then it's going to try to send water, dirt, water, dirt, water. Okay, so this is going to be the one for dirt. This one does need water. These I think I'm going to try and switch to lava. But if we give this some power, and we can give the power to the network by placing a resonant on here, and this should hopefully start functioning. I think we actually need the meshes in here though. Is this actually sending any water? That might be another thing I have to figure out, where I might have to put a storage bus on here or like a water tank on this controller network. I mean, I guess we're about to find out. Hopefully this isn't like too many devices to cause this thing to be overloaded on power. If anything, we can use an energy acceptor. Okay, so this is going, but I don't think that it's working. So let's try a tank from functional storage, because this might need its own inventory to store the liquid in. So I can define this, and since if we connect this up, this should give it a place for it to store it inside of the storage bus. As soon as I link this to the network, there it goes. Oh, perfect. So yeah, so you can see now it is automatically pulling in the water and it's now feeding it. Oh, that is exactly what we want. So there we go. So now we have essentially automated water with this applied energistic system. And you can just see how powerful this whole setup can be. We can also do the same thing with another export bus that is just essentially feeding lava from this tank, for example. We can have it, maybe have it just automatically send into one of these tanks, and then we can place a storage bus on it and use AE to send that into our sleuths. For example, I think back here I have the cobble gen. So let's go ahead and just try and put a lava tank right here and see, is this going to be able to, send some lava here? Yeah, it looks like we have some excess lava that can be sent. And if I do another tank, I think we can do another fluid drawer possibly. We can go ahead and have that filled up as well on this side. Both of these containers can be linked. Now, something that I do recommend doing is locking your fluid containers. So I'm going to lock that one to lava. That's locked to lava. And that's now locked to lava. And then we just need to add them to our drawer network, and now we have access to also pulling lava out of this controller into here. Oh, this is where things get powerful, right? Making sure these are all set to scheduling, and all of this is running off of free power. AE, you can use it as just a simple piping mod. Like, you don't have to go crazy with anything. Now, I did mention this, I believe last episode, that you can make blaze rods now that we have the blazing mesh setup. So we are producing blaze powder. We can make blaze rods inside of the assembler. So I now have enough blaze rods to make the blazing mesh, but this also means I am going to need to also upgrade a little bit more than this, right? So I am going to need a few other things. I'm going to need to upgrade all of my machines into powered versions. And I'm hoping at this point we still have enough power to be able to handle all of this. So cables, I think what I'll do is I'm going to run some cables underneath these once they get placed in. This is going to be pretty nice though. So yeah, I think directly under here, what I'll do is I'll gain access through the bottom section here. If I grab a bucket, I can actually get back out. Actually, you know what? I can easily teleport out. So let's drop down. If it'll let me, there we go. Drop down into the water, break this just like so. And yeah, we just need to run some cables. I mean, I have the ability to breathe underwater. We'll just run some cables to give these power from the bottom like this. And voila. We're connected in. We're tapped in. Man, I really love the teleport staff. Oh, that's too much teleport. Too much. Too much teleport. So yeah, all of that set up just like so. Things are looking mighty fine. As soon as we put these in, we're going to start seeing how much more powerful these things are going to be. It's just now spitting out completely solid cooked ingots. Now, I don't want to store it inside of just any old chest. No, no, no. This is where I think the use of ender chests are now going to start to come into play. And what I want to do is I want to utilize these ender chests and send this all to my AE system down below. So to use these, we can stick with white as the primary storage chest. I kind of like the idea of that, where all of this just essentially gets stored inside of these ender chests. And these are not like normal ender chests, right? This stuff gets stored in here like so, and I can access it from anything else, but also all of our storages and stuff can also access it, unlike a vanilla ender chest. So this gives us a lot of automation possibilities. I also want this automated. And so I just need to make a few more of these. And I think for right now, just getting rid of this one, placing that there, because I want my saplings now going in here, and definitely replacing this one. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of stuff going in here. And yeah, we can handle all of these items, no problem within our applied energy system, especially with the higher tier cards we're going to be putting in it. The cool part is this still allows me to move my system around. As of right now, all I need to do is just simply apply an import bus onto this chest and then connect a cable. And there we go. This is going to slowly start pulling items out. Now, to speed it up, of course, acceleration cards are going to be perfect, and we can throw those in just like we have in our other setups. So perfect. That chest is definitely going to be completely emptied. When the acceleration cards are in the importers are incredibly fast. So of course, it is now time. That's right. Why is the sheep over there float? What? Anyways, it is time to tear down all of this. This is going to be so much that's going to be dumped, but I did make a 64K drive, so we are ready to now effectively move just about everything that's up here. Like almost all of this can now be completely transferred into the applied, and we've already swapped all of the locations for all of this stuff. Oh, there's just so much, and I'm so happy to now be able to start to clear this out so I can now build something a little bit nicer above ground, almost like a little sort of beacon, perchance. I don't know, maybe a way that we can call back home. And hopefully this will help with some of the weird crashes I've been having that I've never experienced before, but I'm almost feeling like this is the culprit, possibly. I will say this process right here, pretty satisfying with all the clicks and pops of it going in your inventory. Oh, that's satisfying. But with that, voila, it's done. Look at this. I now have it all cleared out. All of the stuff is gone that was up here, and most of my stuff has now been moved down. Of course, I still have this up here, but this will be disappearing very soon as well. Also, probably the nether portal. I would actually like to link our nether portal to a better place. So probably tearing this one down and, well, actually putting one in a better location down here might ultimately be the best way to go. But there we go. We now have everything now moved into the lower area, and we can now fully start to expand out our AE system, and I can't wait to do that. So now I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully you learned something new. I know I definitely learned about the replication mod, and my goodness, my brain is going crazy thinking of all of the ways that we could set up things like this to be able to constantly produce certain resources based off of just a few resources that we have to automate. I think that is a fantastic idea, and setting up like a chamber that is for all of this is going to be really good. However, it does cost power, so this is not just 100% free. It does cost energy to do this. So if you did enjoy, definitely click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and well, give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up, as I do really appreciate you guys watching. And I mean, honestly, we're getting super close to 1 million subscribers. That is insane here on YouTube. I can't believe I even hit 100 subscribers, let alone the amount that we're currently setting at. It's just mind-boggling. But anyways, I do appreciate you guys very much, and with that being said, it's now time for me to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that huge thanks is going to go out to none other than, if I can spell things right, to Miner283. Thank you so much, by the way, for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. Absolutely making this, the video production, possible. You're amazing. And of course, guys, if you're interested in joining the Discord, be sure to check it out. Now, I also do live stream about 3 days a week, so definitely follow me over there so you don't miss any future live streams as well. And if live streams aren't your thing, definitely check out the second channel, Chosen Live. You can find that on YouTube, or you can just find it down in the description below. Guys, I thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.